Monsterverse, Aura tier list. All right, if you don't know what the Monsterverse is, then I really feel bad for you. You are missing out on so much peak. But if you do know what it is, then you've come to the right place, my friend, because today we're going to be ranking 25 monsters or titans or whatever they're calling them in a tier list, all right? Based on like how much aura or how much coolness they have, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, anyways, let's get right in, all right? First up is the male and female Muto. Now, or Muto. Muto? It doesn't matter. Now, these two dudes, all right, they were putting up a pretty good fight against Godzilla. That gave them enough aura on their own. They were putting up a good fight. But then they also just got absolutely, like any aura they gained, they immediately lost when one of them got slammed into the building and the other one got smooched to death. So honestly, they are really cool. I really like the designs. I wish they kind of appeared more. But C tier. They're gonna go right in the middle. That's good. C tier. C tier it is. They are. I mean, they're the first monsters of the MonsterVerse, really, in like movie timeline, not in chronological order. Blah blah blah. Anyways, next up though, we have the Skullcrawler or Ramorak, whatever you want to call it. Now these guys, or this singular guy, they were putting up a pretty damn good fight against Kong. All right. I mean, didn't they wipe out the whole tribe of the Eevee people? No, no, no. They wiped out all of Kong's species on the surface. So, yeah, that's what they did. They wiped out all of Kong's species. That's gives them a lot of aura. But then there's this one scene of one being used as a test subject against someone else, and you just lose aura at that point. They're kind of like cannon fodder at this point. You know what? Skullcrawler's gotta go. We're gonna move Mutos up to B tier, Skullcrawler's up to C tier. That's yeah, there we go. Don't want to do that. Actually, we're gonna put skull crawlers in D tier and the male and female mutos in C tier. All right. All right. Next up is the Warbat, and these dudes they were pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. The design is very sick, but at the same time, they kind of like they were on screen for like 5 minutes, maybe less. Like they put up a fight, but not as much as the male and female Muto. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to put them with the skull crawlers in this one. Actually, we're gonna have to lower the Skullcrawler, dude. Skullcrawler gotta go in E tier because it's just cannon fodder. They are very cool. To a human, to an average human, all of these have aura, but like compared to like what's coming up later on the list, they're E tier. And then Warbats are, of course, in D tier. Okay, Skar King. Now this dude, he was absolute peak, all right? He was really cool to watch in the movies and stuff. And I mean, can I say that? He 1800s. Yeah, he 1800s his entire species. And also 1800s one of the largest kaiju in the Monsterverse. Kaiju Titan, who cares? And he did that. So that I mean puts him pretty high, but then he kind of got packed up in the end and he kind of died really quickly. I mean, without his army or whatever, I mean, okay, actually, he was putting up a good fight. I'm gonna put him in A tier, all right? He's no Ghidorah or Godzilla or nothing like that, but for other reasons, he has so much aura, all right? So we're gonna put him in A tier. Next up is Tiamat, all right? Now Tiamat was really cool. Tiamat in the comics, which I haven't read, but I've watched videos on and all that jazz. She put up a pretty good fight against Godzilla. I think she won, maybe. I could be wrong, but she like either won or almost won against Godzilla in the water. No, yeah, yeah, she was winning against Godzilla, and then they got sucked into like a cave, like an underwater cave that had like air and stuff, and then Godzilla won. He didn't use his atomic breath, but blah 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 nerd stuff. So Tiamat is pretty cool, and then you watch GXK and you see her get absolutely packed up. So we're gonna have to put her in C tier. Alright. She is very cool. Next up though is Scylla. Scylla? Scylla? Yeah. See, this they didn't she didn't do as much. Actually in the comic she did do as much as Tiamat. But she got packed up arguably actually her and you know what? No 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 no. Her and Tiamat got absolutely packed up by Godzilla, alright? like in less time than it took the Warbats, I think. Absolutely packed up by Godzilla. All right. Scylla kind of deserved it. Tiamat, nah, Tiamat shouldn't have died. So yeah, Tiamat shouldn't have died, but Scylla, ooh, that was Scylla got packed up all over Rome, bro. Calamari for days. So yeah, Scylla's in D tier. Yeah, Scylla is D tier. Or up next, Behemoth. All right. Now Behemoth, all right, we've barely seen him in the movies. Now in the comics, which I'm gonna for some like half of these are in the comics or not directly in the movies, but blah blah blah. Now in the comics, Behemoth lost against a giant tree dude, Amhuluk. So that kind of makes him lose aura. But the only time he's on screen, like this dude has become a fan favorite, and he's barely done anything. That's just aura in itself. So we're gonna put him in B tier. Next up, though, is one of my personal favorites, Methuselah. Now, Methuselah hasn't appeared in like barely has appeared in barely anything. Now, I think it's because of a copyright claim or whatever, but also I've read somewhere that that's not true. Like the lawsuit, whatever, has been dropped. So I don't know. But Methuselah, I mean, it's a giant mountain, but it's also like a very big giant mountain kaiju dude. We're gonna put him in C tier. C tier for Methuselah. Yeah. Yeah, C tier for Methuselah sounds good. Up next though is Rodan. All right, Rodan, the fire demon. I think that's what it's called. Go ahead and correct me in the comments, John. I know, I see you typing, pal. While you're down there, go ahead and subscribe and like and all that jazz. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, I see you, John. Anyways, Rodan is in Rodan's A tier. I mean, he put up a fight against Ghidorah. He lost and like submitted like a little, award, And then he also tried to put up a fight against Godzilla. So that takes, some balls. Rodan has some balls. So that's why he's an A tier. He has some balls. All right. Next up though is Doug. Doug. All right, this dude's S tier. You can't argue with Doug. Doug will always have the most aura in the Monsterverse. No questions asked. If you disagree, well, you're wrong. That's plain and simple. No, next up is Shimo. All right. Now, you would think from the trailers or whatever, and how very little we got of Shimo, that Shimo would have been, peak aura. And then you watch the movie and you realize Shimo's essentially a dog. Shimo, she could have been like the strongest kaiju in the MonsterVerse. I'm gonna keep saying kaiju, strongest kaiju in the MonsterVerse, but she wasn't. She's essentially a dog. So we're gonna put her in B tier. Up next is Suko. Yeah, this guy doesn't really have aura. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, he is a cool character. He's just little baby Kong, Diddy Kong. No, wait. So yeah, but he's gonna go in E tier. Actually, we're gonna put him in D tier. Yeah, he has the same aura as like a Warbat. Actually, you know what? That's too high because all of these he has the same aura as a Skullcrawler. That's how much aura he has. Next up is the Ion Dragon, and this dude has a face that only a mother could love. Except for that's not true at all. No one loves this guy. I mean, his design's kind of cool, and then you look at his face, and you're like, ew, what on God's green earth, God's given earth, whatever. What is that thing? It's just the face. Oh my God. And then not only he also got packed up by the big G. So man's got packed up by the big G. Kind of a common theme. A lot of the lower tiers got packed up. So we're gonna put him in F tier. I ain't gonna lie. Like if that dude, if the Ion Dragon was chasing me, I would just like I wouldn't let him, kill me. I would, actually I'm not trying to get this video taken down. Yeah. Yeah, I think you can get what I'm saying. Next up is the Kraken. Now this thing, you might be saying the Kraken, what is that from? There's a Skull Island anime that's like official to the lore, possibly whatever. It's on Netflix. It's you should go watch it after this video, of course. But it was a menace the entire show. Like it threw let me explain the Kraken to you. Its design is terrible, but it's like it threw dead whales at Kong to piss him off, knowing he wouldn't go in the water to kill it. That's like that's low key some aura right there. I can't. The design sucks, but you're throwing dead whales at a guy, at a monkey. to piss him off, knowing he can't do nothing about it. That is, and then putting up a fight. All right, you dragged him to the water, and then you put up a fight, which is kind of a B move. Kind of a. I mean, you making him fight in your terrain because you know you probably lose on his terrain, but also he'd lose in your terrain, so it's kind of equal, I guess. They kind of fought in like shallow water, so yeah, the Kraken's A tier, dude. If you Yeah, the Kraken's A tier. It was freaking it was crazy. I ain't gonna lie, it was crazy. Next up though, we have Camazotz. Now Camazotz, hmm, if I remember correctly, Camazotz it fought Kong in a comic, and it had like a whole army of bats. Which that alone, you get commanding a whole army of little kaiju dudes. That's some aura, all right. But then also, oh, it wasn't killed. I'm pretty sure they defeated it. I don't know exactly how they defeated it. I'm pretty sure in the comics that they defeated it by bringing in the storm, like the storm that you see in Godzilla versus Kong on the island. I'm pretty sure is that like made it leave, or that's what I don't know actually. I'm gonna look it up. All right, so Camazotz came like it awoke from the Hollow Earth, went on Kong's like home Skull Island, fought Kong, almost killed him, and started eating him alive. All right, and then the humans came and helped him. Blah blah blah. Read the comic. And yeah, Kong, almost killed him and then threw him back into the Hollow Earth. He, has a very loud screech, that, deafens humans and maybe even Kong. And then he also brought about the storm on the island that forced Godzilla and Kong to fight later on in the Godzilla versus Kong. So that's A tier aura, all right? Actually, Camazotz. Yeah, I mean, Camazotz is unappreciated. I ain't gonna lie. In the Monsterverse, Camazotz is unappreciated. It is a very cool design, very cool lore, all that jazz. We need to see him in a movie. Or the Monarch season 2. We just need to see him in live action. Anyways, what we've seen enough of is Mechagodzilla. And not in a bad way. I mean that we've seen enough to know that he's S tier, alright? This dude packed up such a good punch. I mean, the scene of him ripping not ripping, but like lasering straight through the Skullcrawler. Alright, peak cinema. Alright. The scene like him beating down Godzilla, almost killing him, and then using his signature move against him to finish him off, the Kiss of Death. That's S tier, dude. And then he put up a really good fight against Godzilla and Kong until eventually they got upper and it killed him. But I mean, Mechagodzilla is just S tier. Oh, and the soul of Ghidorah, like the Neuralink, whatever science stuff they pretended to explain in the movie. So essentially, Ghidorah is controlling Mechagodzilla, and so the Ghidorah got beaten by Godzilla, and now it's coming back, and winning. So that's just like aura on its own. Next up is Abaddon, and this dude was in a game that released recently. I highly doubt anyone knows what it is, but it's essentially a giant spider kaiju, and it's like face or like whatever the giant ball on its back is. I forgot what it's called. It's just a giant skull, so it's kind of scary to humans, but also got packed up by Kong. So we're gonna put it in C tier. Abaddon is a C tier kaiju. Up next is Amhuluk. Now, Amhuluk is the kaiju that put up a good fight again. It's a giant tree dude that put up a good fight against Behemoth that I talked about earlier. But also, I mean, he put up a good fight against Behemoth. But then as soon as Godzilla came, he was like, "Yeah, this isn't worth it." It is a kind of cool kaiju. I mean, it's like the only part of its body is like its like brain area, and it uses its telepathic whatever powers to like combine plant life together to form Amulek's body. Its body to fight and stuff. So that's pretty cool on its own. We're gonna put it in B tier. I'm gonna say that's B tier aura. Up next is Shinomura. Did I say it right? Shinomura. Go ahead, correct me if I'm wrong. But now this dude was in one of the comics, and I'm pretty sure he's non canon anymore. This guy doesn't exist in the canon, which it's a cool design. I just don't like the lore behind it. It's essentially a rip-off Destroyer. It's made of a bunch of different cells that can like combine and reshape into different things. But this dude was fighting Godzilla in 1954, which essentially the original lore was that Shinomura. Let me restart. So in the beginning of Godzilla 2014, you see a nuclear bomb go off, and you think it's to try to kill Godzilla, but in the comics it's revealed it's oh my God. It's revealed, cut that part out. It's revealed that it was trying to kill Godzilla and Shinomura, trying to kill both of them with one nuclear bomb. Did it work? I don't remember from the comics, but it is a pretty cool design. It's kind of a rip-off Destroyer. It is one of the most strongest kaiju, but also it doesn't exist in the canon anymore, so I'm gonna have to put in B tier for that. Next up is Muto Prime. This one kind of suffers a similar fate, except for the fact that it is a block cooler than Shinomura. It's essentially the apex Muto, the best. I mean, it's a Muto Prime, so kind of tells you enough about it. This thing almost killed Godzilla 2014 and tried to impregnate him. Okay, hold up. Yeah, it tried to lay her eggs, his its eggs in Godzilla, and it had this sonic shriek or whatever. And essentially, this thing is if you've watched the movies and you might be like, oh, why did Godzilla's dorsal plates whatever change from 2014 to 2019 whatever? This is the reason why. Also, it might not be canonical anymore. It might be. Shinomura is pretty much not canonical anymore. Muto Prime might be canonical. We don't know. But this is the reason. I mean, it almost killed Godzilla, and then Godzilla used his dorsal, like he didn't have the dorsal plates anymore, so all the atomic energy, whatever's just coming out of there, and then it had the Muto Prime on his back and just blasted, destroyed her. But also, I don't know, Muto Prime. That's kind of A tier aura. I ain't gonna lie. It was packing up a good punch, and it's like you getting your ass handed to you, and then it's trying to impregnate you too. That might be some of y'all's dreams, but it ain't mine. Definitely, no, no. Anyways, next up is Mothra, all right? And Mothra, I want to put Mothra in S tier, but at the same time, Mothra like has died. Like they got, she put up a good fight against Rodan, but then she like sacrificed herself. She sacrificed herself for Godzilla to become Burning Godzilla. So that was pretty peak. But I mean, Mothra has aura. Anytime Mothra is on screen, you're like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Mothra's S tier. Next up, though, is a big old monkey, Mr. Kong, all right? And is this really a question? Kong has S tier aura, all right? I mean, he's a big old monkey. He like realized he grew up on Skull Island, remembering that his parents died to the Skullcrawlers. Then he killed the Skullcrawler that killed his parents. And then I mean, obviously, maybe he fought Camazotz. We don't know yet. That's still canon. But then he also, after that, he had no clue what he was doing. He went to the Antarctic, went through a portal, went to the Hollow Earth, saw the bodies of his ancestors, got an axe and all that jazz, and fought Godzilla. Well, he fought Godzilla in the ocean too. So, a dude he's never seen before, he fought and, well, he lost. But then afterwards, well, I mean, he lost against Godzilla. Godzilla won in Godzilla versus Kong. But you get the point. Kong is just him. Actually, no. He's almost just him. But Kong is still S tier. Along with King Ghidorah, all right? You can't argue that King Ghidorah doesn't have. I mean, look at this if you know this scene, all right? It's on a mountain, and then you see, like, I don't know how to explain the metaphors or whatever of the scene, but if you've watched the movie, you know King Ghidorah just had so much aura, dude. Every time King Ghidorah is on screen, S tier aura. I mean, you can't argue with that. But next up, all right, second to last is Godzilla, the king of the monsters. You already know where he's going. This guy has the most aura, arguably the most aura out of anyone on his list. I mean, most movies he's in, and when he's in those movies, I mean, he's just on demon time. If you watch GXK, he's any Godzilla movie, he's on demon time. Maybe not 2014, and maybe not in 2019, but Godzilla versus Kong and Godzilla X Kong, he's on demon time, dude. He does not care. All right. You might be saying, "Oh, well, he's pink now." I mean, it's a cool design. You can't lie. It's not as cool as like the older ones. The blue ones are always, gonna be cool. But you can't lie. It's not a bad design. It's a pretty good design. So that's why Godzilla's S tier. Now, last but not least, is something you might not have thought about. Now, if you watch Godzilla X Kong, you're gonna remember a scene where Kong and Suko walk across a giant, like, dead kaiju to get over a canyon. And that thing is just huge. So, I mean, that's S tier. There's something that huge that existed, you automatically get aura, you know. I mean, the fact that, well, I don't think anyone's even talking about it still, but this dude's in S tier. I mean, you can't argue that that thing didn't have an aura. So this is our completed list. And yeah, as you can see, most of them are in S tier, and you have some. It goes down, you know. It goes down. Most Titans or Kaiju, whatever, in a MonsterVerse have a lot of aura. I mean, the MonsterVerse itself is just pretty aura. I mean, it's been going on for like 10 years now, probably more. And it's, I mean, I hope it doesn't end anytime soon. Can't wait for what they have next. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, just want to say thank you for watching. All right, if you want to see more, go ahead, like, subscribe, all that jazz. But in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.